And we are live. So just give me a minute. There we go. Hello, everybody. We are hopefully live, and you're hopefully picking us up. Okay. Yes. How are you doing, Sam? How are you? What you been up to?
I'm good, mate. Good. Not really been doing much, really. Just sort of out and about this morning. Just sort of enjoying the weather, really.
Yeah, why not? While it's still here, we might as well enjoy it while it's here because it won't be long until we start getting all the rain and all the horrible. Well, to be honest, it's the weather I prefer personally. I prefer cold compared to constantly warm. Anyway, hello everybody. Hello to Ginger and to Nico in the chat there. That's said hello to us. Hope you both doing well. If anybody else wants to pop on and say hello, you are more than welcome to. Um, Let me just make sure that's muted. So I don't really know what we're going to be talking about today, to be honest. I think it's just one of those, we're just going to wing it and just see what happens and just get into a bit of a conversation. I've absolutely no idea if there's been any more information regarding Gen 5. I don't think there has. I think there's been a little bit of advertisement. There's been like some like advertisement posters going up lately. But that's a little bit literally about it that I've seen. What about you, Sam?
What about you, John? Yeah, I haven't seen anything new recently. As far as I'm aware, I think the clock is ticking for the trailer. I reckon we are no more than 3.5, 4 weeks away maximum before we get the trailer.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think they are really, really going to town now. I mean, we're finally getting some advertisements from E1. So we're finally getting some poster announcements by E1. So if that's obviously happening, I can't see it being too much longer. Ginger just put, I hope it's early July. We do too. I mean, we're what? How? Yeah, we're literally about a week and a half now into June, and if this film is still coming out in, I believe it's September. Um, I would have thought we would have been getting at least a teaser now this month, by rights, but I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know where this I don't know where this trailer's going to come from. I don't know who's going to release one first, whether it's going to be through Netflix, whether it's going to be through E1, whether it's going to be through Hasbro, through YouTube, or what have you, through Discovery Family or something like that, because obviously Discovery Family, obviously they was airing Friendship is Magic in America and all everything. So we don't know where it's going to first hit the TV or hit the internet. So we don't know who's going to put the first foot out there and release it, because this is a big partnership between obviously Hasbro, E1 and Netflix, and also is it Paramount or something like that? I don't know, but there's about three major studios behind it and major entities behind the film. So who's going to make the first move is it's still up in the air. But
I have a theory. Basically, I have this theory that since the release date, as far as we're aware, hasn't changed. It's still, I believe, the 24th or the 25th of September. I have a theory that the release date for the trailer will be either the 24th or the 25th of July, which will literally be marking literally 2 months before the film comes out.
Yeah.
Which would sort of work out within a timeline. So potentially we are probably less than a month and a bit away from the trailer being released.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do hope so. I mean, it's getting a little bit annoying, and and I understand, like we've already spoken about this in previous live streams and in videos, but we can only assume that they are being very, very secretive in regards to any sort of information release, because of what happened with the 2017 film, with it getting that German leak hurting the sales. But obviously, this is going up on Netflix. It's not going into theaters straight away. So, I mean, it will eventually. I think probably once it's been on Netflix for a little bit, there might maybe, because what's making me think is that there's obviously a lot of money being poured into this movie, especially with it being completely 3D CGI animation, really beautiful, hyper realistic animation, like Pixar quality animation, and it just makes me wonder of like how much money they've sank into this movie, and how are they going to hopefully get some money back if it's only going to be on Netflix worldwide? Because yes, they probably will get money. Netflix will probably get money through through people that are subscribed to Netflix, that pay a monthly fee or whatever. But in regards to box office kind of takings, I don't know what they're going to do. But I've got a feeling that eventually, I think it will probably get released in theaters, probably Netflix. Just to try and give it a little bit of a boost of royalties, really, box office revenue or whatever. What we got here? Ginger. Oh no, Nico. Sorry, Nico. Sorry. So how are y'all been these days? Well, I'm well myself. Thank you very much for asking, Nico. I've just been chilling out today. Today's been a day off, and I've literally just been reading a couple of panels of this just before starting the stream. So this is one of my recent purchases. I've got the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 10 Volume 1, and just literally read about 3 or 4 panels or pages or whatever of it, and but I'll be reading more of it, and I'll be making a review on this on the channel sometime. I've been watching anime. I've been catching up on Demon Slayer. I finished that last night. I need to go and see that Mugen Train, whatever it is, the movie, whatever it is for it, because it's obviously a continuation. It's a sequel to season 1. Yeah, and just working as well. So that's been me. What about you, Sam?
Much the same, really. Apart from the obvious, I've just been getting on with life, really.
Yeah, well, that's all you can do, isn't it? It's just life, working and all that kind of stuff, and just trying to preoccupy your mind a little bit, due to what's going on in the world at the moment. Ginger, by the way, have you guys seen the new look of Sunny's possible hometown? It was on Insta, I think. No, I haven't actually. I haven't seen that. I've been following the Instagram accounts for My Little Pony and also for Equestria Daily, and I have come across a lot of advertisements in regards to G5, the G5 movie, and like advertisement posters, but I haven't seen that though. I'll have to give that a look. Let me just see if I can get it up on the phone.
I'll be back in a moment.
Okay. Let me see if I can get it. My Little Pony. It's not on that one, so I assume it'd be on Equestria Daily. Then if it is. No. I don't, what was it on, do you know? What account on Instagram was it, Ginger? Because I'm not finding anything because I'm following Equestria daily and I'm following the My Little Pony official Hasbro Instagram, and I haven't come across that yet. But if you can let me know which account posted that information, and I'll give it a look while I'm live. Nico again. Imagine if the S10 comics, season 10 comics, were turned into actual fully animated episodes as a surprise from Hasbro. That would be really, really nice. It would be really, really cool if that happened or was going to happen. I don't think it will because, well, we're now into the G5 territory, so it's kind of like may not ever happen. But can't say never, because if the fans, or if they find that there is a lot of want from the fan base, and there is genuinely a lot of want for a season 10 series, or maybe a special movie, or like a limited series where it's probably only about so many episodes, but they're like feature length episodes, maybe 45 minutes to an hour each or something like that, that follow season 10 storyline, I'll be all over that thing. I'll be all over that in a heartbeat, because just reading a little bit of the panels of it in there, obviously you've got all of them back. You've got the return of the pirates. You got Kappa, and it's really interesting because it's bringing a lot of like really popular side characters and main characters together for together on like an actual mission. So that would be really cool to see actually animated. Ginger, it would also be great if they get the old cast back. It would be nice to see the voice actors for G5 to make some sort of to make a return. Especially for the season 10. If season 10 was the comic book, whatever, was fully animated, that would be great to see them come back.
I am back.
You are back. Great. So, do you want to weigh in on this, Sam? We just had a message by Ginger. Well, no, I've already read that one. Nico, sorry. Nico, it says, imagine if the season 10 comics were turned into actual fully animated episodes as a surprise from Hasbro. Would you like to weigh in on that? What your thoughts on that is?
That would be very cool and quite a treat, especially considering that from what little I know of the season 10 plot, it's going to focus a lot on outside of Equestria, like Zeccora's homeland, for example. I know there was a lot of rumours about them bringing back a lot of the characters from the 2017 film, like Tempest was apparently going to make an appearance. So ultimately, I would like to see season 10 fully animated, but sadly, I would have to be reality and say it'll never happen because, well, Hasbro have moved on. So
yeah.
We'll get it in comic form only, sadly. I mean, there might be some fan animations down the line, perhaps. They might end up doing it as a fan animation, or they might do it as a motion comic, or hell, Scribbler might even do it as an audio thing. But there's potential there, but I don't think Hasbro will pick up G4 in any way. They're done with it. G5, the future.
It is. That's it. I mean, it would be nice to see a return of an actual fully animated season 10, as it was originally intended. There was going to be a 10th season, but they decided obviously to do it in a comic book form to finally give a good bow out to those characters and to give a proper, and to bring some characters from the movies, because like I was just saying, Sam, I've just been reading a couple of panels of it, and without really going into too much detail, obviously you haven't read it yet, I don't think, and I don't know about anybody else in the chat there, but basically, just not to give anything away from what I've just read, It seems that it's a proper collaborative effort, and it's bringing in characters from the movie, the 2017 movie, and it's kind of a proper collaborative effort going on going on like a big mission, and they're all being split up into like 3 or 4 different teams, and they basically have to kind of like basically explore Equestria. They're looking at opening up Equestria, the map of Equestria. And that's basically what I've read so far. I'm looking forward to giving it a bit more of a read, and definitely pick up volume 2 of it, but when that gets released. What's going on in the chat? Ginger. Yeah, there's Ginger as well. It would also be great if they get the old cast back for if season 10 was turned into fully animated episodes. It would be nice, like I've just said. I don't know if you want to weigh in on that, Sam.
Yeah. Well, in regards to that, God.
What?
No, just thinking about it.
I mean, I think he's on about Ginger's on about if season 10 what did happen to get turned into a animated full season. Would you like to see Tara Strong and Tabitha St. Germain and all that return for it?
I would. It'd be good to see them come back and reprise the roles. Ultimately, I know but ultimately we don't know if they have any involvement in G5. But yeah, if they did bring back G4 with season 10, then obviously, I would want the cast back, definitely.
Yeah, it would be nice if it would be nice to see them come back, but we just don't know which actors are going to be coming back to voice new characters in Gen 5. We just don't know, because going on the past generations of My Little Pony, there's been returning actors or actresses that have voiced characters in previous incarnations that are now that were working on Gen 4. Yes, they didn't play the same characters, but they played different characters in each incarnation. In Gen 3, I believe, and I think Gen 2 and Gen 3, I think was Tabitha, or at least Gen 3, I remember Tabitha's name was brought up. I don't know, I can't remember who she played though. And then obviously Kathy Wesselook, I think her name is, who played Spike. She also was in Gen 3 as well. But yeah, it would be nice to see some sort of return. But anyway, so Nico again. Meanwhile, I just saw the season 2 opener for the Owl House earlier today, and it was awesome. Owl House, I've never heard of that. Is that an animated series or something? I've never actually watched that or heard of it. But anyway, how's everybody in the chat doing, by the way? How are you, Ginger? How are you, Nico? How are you in yourselves? Have you bought anything pony related? Are you playing any video games? Are you watching anything currently? What you watching? What you doing? Let us know. So, Sam, I don't know if is there anything in particular you want to talk about on the stream today?
Well, I wanted to let people know that obviously, as I mentioned before, Ministry of Image, obviously the website that is dedicated to getting the fan fictions of the fan base published. They are now on Discord. Okay. If anybody does have Discord, I highly recommend you add ebook production to your Discord. That is basically Ministry of Image on Discord. It's well worth it. There's a lot of conversation going on, a lot of interesting information about published fan fictions, and it also turns out that there are a lot more websites than I knew about that are actually publishing MLP fan fiction. Some of them are actually doing it fairly cheap, because there are some websites that specialize in just sort of like paperback editions, and they're fairly cheap. So if you have Discord, make sure you add ebook productions to your Discord, because it's well worth it. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on with Ministry of Image at the moment on their Discord.
Interesting. So if anybody out there in the chat there are interested in film fictions, whatever, give that a look. See, I mean, I'm on Discord, but I don't use it as much. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, I want to get into some film fiction. I definitely want to check out Fallout Equestria. I don't know if you would be very gracious, Sam, to let me borrow one of your versions, would you, to let me read it? You might not get it back for a few years, but I'd like to read it though.
Not to sound mean, mate, but considering that I own the 4th edition printing of the actual author's version of it, which is very rare, I also own the Ministry of Image collector's set, which is practically very rare because they don't even make that anymore. No, I will not.
Aww.
However, if you do wish to read it, there are 2 options. There are 2 options. Option 1, you can buy it on hardback edition for Ministry of Image, or option 2, you can read it on Film Fiction.
True, but I prefer to have a physical book in my hand. I mean, I've tried to read stuff online and I just can't, like e-readers and all that, e-books and that, I just can't do it. I just can't engage in it, in the story, as much as I can if it's like a physical book. That's me. I've always been a physical person, and that might come over wrong.
Let me have a look, because I don't know if it's still active, but I do know of somebody else who is actually doing. But about to say, I do know there's somebody who sort of sells third party copies of the book, but it would appear that he is no longer knocking around. So I'm guessing he's no longer producing books. Shame that, because he was pretty good at it. Yes. I can certainly have a look around for any other options. But as I said, mate, your 2 options are buy a physical copy or read it online. But I can always have a look. Like I said, I'm well aware that there's a few other places you could buy one. Ginger has a question. Well, Ginger, go ahead.
Yep.
And we've got someone new, Mohammed Danish and Sari. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Hello to you. Hope you're well. But go on, Ginger. If you have a question, mate, ask away.
Right. So Nico responded saying about that show called The Owl House. It's a new show from Disney. Check it out. It's great. Okay. I might check and see if it's on Disney Plus at all. And give it a watch. Apparently, Ginger said he didn't know whether the chat was blocking him, but obviously, I'm not. I'm getting your replies anyways, mate. So don't worry about it. Yeah, by all means, Ginger, if you have a question. I'm guessing that was a. I'm guessing that was not who he seemed to be. I noticed you blocked him. You still there, Sam?
Yeah, still here, mate.
Yeah, I noticed you. Mohammed has gone. Anyway, Ginger.
The chats automatically delete if they detect certain words.
Yes.
They can. I don't know if ours is set up like that, Ginger, but they can.
Yes, it can do. But it usually comes up on my end. As I'm the host of tonight's stream, if someone wants to have put something in there like the F word or whatever, it comes up as me to kind of allow or deny it. I've not had anything like that so far. So there's been nothing like that, in the stream so far. So, but yeah, it says, does the chat automatically delete chats if detect certain words? But no, they don't. Well, they do, but I've not had anything like that at the moment. Anyway, Nico, what are your thoughts on the new Pony movie being from Ireland instead of Canada? That's because of Boulder Media are in Ireland, isn't it? Is it Ireland? Is it Ireland? Is that where Boulder Media are from? That's interesting. It'd be interesting to see who's going to be voicing these characters, whether they're going to be English actors, not Canadian actors anymore. But to be honest, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a Canadian voice, a group of Canadian actors like with Finn, because obviously with Friendship is Magic, the production was done in Canada through DHX Media. And obviously, it moved to Boulder Media for the final like specials that they did, and I think they also some of the Equestria Girl stuff was moved to Boulder Media as well. But yeah, so it is Boulder Media is from Ireland, right? Brilliant. I knew it was in the United Kingdom, but I forgot whereabouts it was. But no, I mean, I don't have a problem as long as the work that they produce is good quality, and whoever they cast as the characters are good actors. I've got absolutely nothing wrong with it being more like based in Ireland rather than in Canada. But at the same time, I don't mind Canadian actors or American actors playing the characters. At the end of the day, it is an American property. It's My Little Pony is a Hasbro property. It's an American property, and it's an American toy line that is sold around the world. So, hello to Farrokh Ahmed. I love MLP and Equestria Girls. Nice one. Welcome.
There's with the animation stuff. The one thing I'm mostly interested in is whether or not they commission the film in the D5 series, which I'm kind of hoping they do, because it would be very strange to go from sort of digital 3D animation to traditional 2D animation.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that the series has the same animation style.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Boulder Media, I think they'll probably be more working on the animated series that will happen after the movie, the follow-up series. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the animated series will be fully CGI or whether it'll be 2D animation with like 3D elements to it. So like the world or the environment will have like 3D elements to it, but yet it'll be more two-dimensional artwork. I don't know yet. I mean, Netflix have enough money to do a fully animated movie CGI and also a series CGI, so we just have to wait and see. Nico, you mentioned, this is to me, by the way, just let Sam know. You mentioned about how much money they poured into the new movie. I'd say it'll have like a $5 to $10 million budget. I'm not sure how much money. I mean, I'm just guessing that it will be a big amount because of it being a fully 3D CGI movie, like Pixar quality animation. Because looking at the promotional posters, advertisements that they are sharing for the movie through E1 and everybody. From what I can see from that is that I think the budget's much more than 10 million. I mean, the CGI alone will cost probably about that. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not in the movie business. I don't really know how much things cost, but I do know high quality animation, CG animation is very expensive. Hence why, like, independent movies that have any CG elements they only have them in certain scenes. I mean, I don't know if anybody in the chat, I know this is going on a different tangent. It's not MLP related, but I'm just using this as an idea, as a point. But there's an independent movie, I think it's called, I forgot what it's called. It's a monster film. I think it's called Monsters, I think it is. And basically, there's like this weird tentacle creature in it. And literally, you only see parts of it. There's only one scene, I think, in the film where you see it fully, or you see more, maybe one or two of them, like, full. But then, for the most part, you just see the odd tentacle, or you just see the odd part of it. and that's because it was an independent film, and they kind of deliberately only showed certain parts of it so it would be a lot cheaper in order to keep making the film. So, but when it comes, so that just says to me that obviously, having something fully CGI on screen from start to finish of the movie, that is going to add up significantly. I mean, I think the 2017 movie was around about the 10 million bracket, roughly about that. But that was 2D animation with 3D elements to it. So that would be, I think, a bit cheaper quality animation than it would be for a Pixar quality movie. Because Pixar, the movies that Pixar and Disney make, they probably put about 50 million into each film, probably more.
If it helps, mate, the budget for the 2017 film was 6.5 million.
6.5 million, and how much did they earn back on
that? Just over 61 million.
So they got a pretty good money back from that then. But that was mostly thanks to partial box office after the leak. But I think it would have helped with domestic releases. I think the domestic release would have really helped them out with that. Right, where are we with the chat?
It was sort of harmed a little bit by all the leaks. It probably could have made a bit more. It might have made in the region of maybe 80 million if the leaks hadn't happened. Yeah. And if the box office release had been a bit more synchronized, because there were some countries that literally had to wait almost 6 to 8 months before they got it. In some cases, there were countries which weren't due to get the film until after Christmas. Yeah. So a lot of people ultimately watched the leak because, they watched it rather than wait 6 to 8 months for the film to be released.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that it's actually a smart thing that they are releasing it on Netflix as well, mostly because there's something else I remember. You just kind of prompted this, Sam, with saying that basically with the 2017 film, certain countries and territories would get it a lot later. Like some of them got it like really late. And so really a leak happening was... He could only, he could tell something was going to happen because I think Europe, like Germany and France and so on, I think they got it first, relatively first, and UK we got it later than other European countries, and then obviously America got it for Canada and America, they got it as well, and then. So other countries got it like really, like maybe about 2 or 3 months after the release of the film, in their countries and territories. So I think it's a really clever idea on Hasbro and everyone else in between to make a deal with Netflix and to make it a worldwide release. So everybody's going to get it on the same day. That makes perfect sense. Where are we? Nico, it could still be more, but that's just my guess for now. Yeah, I get your point. Ginger, they successfully sold enough merchandise for this movie. So yeah, I mean they're already releasing things like bedspreads, duvets, pillows, plushes. They've already got stuff like that lined up. So yeah, they're already raking in some sort of royalties for the film. I think that's basically one way I think they're going to make money on this film is through mostly merchandise and subscriptions to Netflix. I think they're the two ways where I think they're going to get the money back for the film. Ginger again. Sorry?
Mention if I may, Nico has made a good point. He basically stated the 2017 LP movie is like its highest grossing animated film to date. He's thrown the Alpha and Omega from 2010. Now, I'm a fan of the Alpha and Omega film. I really like that film. I know it's a bit off topic, but I just wanted to brush up on it real quick. Alpha and Omega, unfortunately, was that type of film which did really well, was quite well received, was all around a fairly solid film. And then due to its success, it went on to be utterly butchered and became this ridiculously long film series. It's got something like 5 spin-offs and sequels, all individually get worse as time goes on. until the final one that they released is just some of the worst animation I've ever seen. And it sort of felt like they went from making a pretty solid film to making low budget spin offs and sequels just to try and sell money. Obviously, the whole concept selling the name of the franchise and hoping they would make money off that.
Mm.
But ultimately, luckily, MLP's never shared that fate. It's been fairly solid.
Yeah, I mean, Ginger just put as well before Nico. He said, "I feel like it's going to be both 2D and 3D. Imagine the intro going to be 2D movie. Sorry, where are we here? It moved up. Let me read that again. I feel like it's going to be both 2D and 3D. Imagine the intro going to be 2D animated, like if they are for X." Telling the story in the past and the main six. Yeah, we don't know. We just don't know yet what the animated series following it's going to be like, and the 45-minute special they're going to do as well to bridge the gap. We just don't know. We just don't know. We just don't know at this point. I mean, Netflix have a lot of money. They are worth more than the game industry, and that says a lot. Says again, I used to be a fan of Alpha. Oh, yeah, you've already said that, haven't you? Oh, no, it's not. Yeah. So, yeah, Nico's saying he used to be a fan of Alpha and Omega too. But those sequels completely destroyed everything. The first one, I didn't mind it. It wasn't great, but I didn't mind it. I haven't watched the sequels.
Yeah, the sequels are your stereotypical cheap spin-off sequel where, because the first film did moderately well and was successful, they try and pitch in on the name of the title, and as a result you end up with just really bad sequels. And the biggest issue with them, apart from being bad films, was just the animation. On each film, the animation just gets worse and worse and worse, and then the very last film we released was just awful. Like the actual animation was terrible. You could tell that it was just cheap as they could make it.
Yeah.
Because you had no wish for it to really sell. It was like somebody just come up with a script and they've just given them a small budget and they just made the film. So it's sort of a shame where ultimately you've ended up with which is a fairly solid film, and then ultimately it just becomes a series of really, really bad, not quite top-notch sequels.
Yeah. Just give me a second. I'm just going to go get a cup of tea. I'll leave the stream for now in the capable hands of Sam, a disembodied voice.
All right. I'll be 2 seconds. Let's go do some.
Just to keep you all company, here's Tempest for you. If I can get her on the bloody thing. There we go. I will be back.
I'm back, guys. The disembodied voice has returned. Okay. We have a new host, I see. Very good. Tempest will keep an eye on everything for us. I have been keeping an eye out on all the local feeds for information, but unfortunately I can't find anything. Jonathan, you're welcome to Storm King's overlordship. Well, let's be honest. If he gives us cake, I'm happy. As long as there is cake and tea, I will be happy with the Storm King's leadership. And there's also if he would allow me to give Tempest a cuddle, because I believe she looks like she needs a hug. I can help with organising buddies to work in the salt mines. Oh dear, poor Bronies. Ooh, we're getting ruthless, Jonathan. Maybe the evil Storm King's minion, his henchman. Yes. Equestria would never be free again. I mean, ultimately, ironically, on the side of the 2017 movie, anybody else feel like it did get pretty dark? Near the sort of final act when you basically saw all of the ponies effectively enslaved, like all being marched off in chains. And that was pretty dark. Tempest should have had her own movie. We should have seen her redemption in one way, shape, or form. Yes, Nico, I agree. I really like her character, and it is an absolute disaster that we never got to see her again after the film. Not even for just an episode of MLP. Ultimately, she would make a really interesting character to have her own film. I agree. Yeah, Zero Bunny for the fellow Zero Bunny, and yes, for the moment, Tempest is our host. She's not saying much at the moment because she's sort of just basically waiting for the Storm King to show up and give her orders. Yes, if you compare it to G1 Ginger, yeah, it's not as dark. I know G1, G1 got very dark. I don't know a lot about G1, but I do know that it does have its pretty dark moments. But then I suppose that came out in the 80s, and back in the 80s and 90s, it could be as dark as you liked and nobody cared. That was a great thing about back then. Kid shows, kid cartoons could get dark and nobody cared. Nowadays, you step onto the darkness and become a little bit dark, people complain. I mean, on the subject of the 2017 film, interestingly, there were actually some complaints about that film. Like some overprotective parents sort of stated it felt like it had some scenes that were too dark, including the scene near the end where Twilight gets swept away in the storm. Apparently that was traumatic for their little ones. It's like, you've got to have a little bit of tension in a film, even if it's an MLP film. You've got to have a little bit of tension. Yeah, Jonathan, I love the dark tones back in the 80s. Yeah, I mean, I was born in 89, but half of the cartoons I was watching in the mid-90s were basically 80s cartoons. So, they were full of action, they had dark undertones, they were brilliant. And in a sense, the 80s really made the cartoons. I mean, some of the cartoons from the 80s were nothing but, Cold War propaganda. But you do have your really good stuff from the 80s. Transformers being one of them. Nico, am I the only one here who generally can't stand pony life at all? 15 episodes in, I had to stop the show. Couldn't take it anymore. Nico, no, you're not, mate. I hate pony life myself. I will be completely open about this. I watched 3 episodes of Pony Life and then I stopped. I just couldn't get to grips with Pony Life. I just was not a fan. So no, you're not the only person who doesn't like it. I don't like it either. Like, they'll get over it, parents acting like muppets these days. Yes, Zero Bunny, you are right. There are too many agile parents. I know it's not Cody related, but I will say this. My parents let me watch my first 15-rated film, which was Terminator 2, at the age of 10. So when I was 10 years old, I was basically watching 15-rated films. The very first 15-rated film I ever watched at the age of 10 was Terminator 2. And that was because I just begged my mum and dad to let me watch it, and they had it on video, so they let me watch it. And Nico, they literally pull the Teen Titans Go with Bronies, and in my eyes, Teen Titans Go is one of the worst things that ever happened. Yes, yeah, it has. Yeah, that is indeed true. By the way, the ending of Pony Life was good though. The final song of the main six, it was so sweet. And Jonathan is now reaffirming his allegiance to the current regime. Nolsey, while you were gone, we decided we were going to save Tempest Shadow and through her save the Storm King. But now that you have returned, we save you, O Great Overlord. What are your orders?
Let's just all have a brew and let it wait for it all to blow over.
Yeah, the Yorkshire way. Have a cup of tea. Yorkshire way.
Yeah. Let me just get up to grips with what's been said in the chat. Hello to Jonathan. Something is up with the feed. All I can see is a shadow. I love it. Yeah, I thought to just put a little mascot there when I went to go and make a cup of tea. What else has been said here? Nico, Tempest should have had her own movie. We should have seen her redemption in one way, shape, or form. I completely agree with that. I mean, well, what's looking like we might get a bit of redemption in the season 10 comic because she's going to be massively involved by the looks of that. Hello to Zero Bunny. Welcome to the chat. Guess Tempest is the host now. Yeah, she is.
Slight problem, Millsy.
What?
Jonathan has admitted he's a Lancashire lad.
Oh, Christ.
I know. Lancashire and Yorkshireman, we're not meant to mix.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jonathan. I'm going to have to take you off the stream. It's nothing personal. Kind of is. I'm joking. How's the Lancashire hot pot going? Hey. Sorry. But anyway, I mean, end of the day, it's from Lancashire. Was British. I mean, if you like tea, we can get on. And you like ponies, so that's fine.
It says half of the Lancashire ponies come from Yorkshire. Yeah, that's no doubt true.
You know what? Even though there's probably quite a few. I mean, when I used to work at Asda, the job before where the place I'm working at now, I never actually said anything, but I actually saved a couple of people that were wearing like Brony t-shirts, and I was fighting myself. I was going to say I love the t-shirt, but then I thought, yeah, I don't really want to say anything in front of my colleagues because it'd be a bit awkward. But yeah, but yeah, there's quite a big fan base of all sorts of different like geek cultures where me and Sam are from in Hull.
Oh yeah.
There's a big. I mean, we have like Hull Comic Con and everything. That happens at least twice a year, and
so far Hull Comic Con due to the ongoing bloody COVID situation has effectively been delayed for basically 2 years. It was supposed to be happening again today. It was actually due to be today, but they've had to push it back again. It's now happening November this year. So,
right.
You know, assuming everything goes according to plan, we might actually get Hull Comic Con for the first time in 2 years in November.
Yeah, I mean, Ginger was talking about Pony Life. I mean, I've seen, I think, the first 2 episodes of Pony Life, so I don't like it. Just doesn't for me. Yeah, Jonathan said he has a cuppa, although he's from Lancashire. I mean, yeah, if you got a cuppa and you like ponies, it's all good, man. Nico, Ginger is. I barely survived the show's first 15 episodes. Yeah, decent final song. Yeah. Anyway, now Jonathan says something about Europe has a few pony cons this year. Interesting.
That's lucky. I mean, literally, as far as I'm aware, all the pony cons in the UK have literally been cancelled again.
Yeah.
There's only 2 as well. There's PonyCon, and then is it GaiaCon or GalaCon? There's one in Scotland. I think it's called GalaCon. I've never been to that.
I think the Scottish one is, apparently I've heard, is kind of like they do actually get voice actors going to it. Because I heard that there's at least one MLP convention within the United Kingdom that does actually get actual guests, rather than being a community one where it's just people dressing up. But I don't know. I've never been to it, so I don't know.
Let's have a look.
Jonathan said Jonathan says Griffish Isles in Manchester, November this year. Interesting. I've got time off in November. I don't know. I have to see what the dates are. Knowing my luck, it probably won't match up with the dates I've already got off.
Brony Scott.
Huh?
It was Brony Scott.
Brony Scott, right.
However, sadly, it looks like
it's gone.
I don't think it survived.
This is the problem. I mean, with the
it's died, mate. They had to cancel 2019, and then literally sort of the previous year, 2020, sadly they announced that they were ending it due to COVID. They couldn't survive being shut down for another year, so they've had to cancel. So it's officially no longer exists. The only 2 MLP conventions left in the UK is PonyCon and the Griffish Isles convention, which it takes place in Manchester.
Yeah,
sadly, we've lost one of our only 3 cons. The Scotland one unfortunately didn't survive. I know the only reason why the PonyCon survived is because they've literally been around for something like 15, 16 years. And they are capable of sort of reopening without any problems. So I suspect that if all goes well, fingers crossed, next year they may well go ahead and reopen. I can't see them going anywhere, and I think Griffin Isles. Quick look at their website. Let's just have a look. I don't know. Griffin Isles may not have survived either.
Okay, interesting. Because Jonathan's saying that that's supposed to be happening in November. November in Manchester.
Well, let's have a look, because it's a bit hard to tell. Let's have a quick look here.
Jonathan said GI has survived, he says.
It has? Good. According to this, November 20th to 21st, 2021, it's still happening. So, yeah, it has survived.
Apparently, there's only 2 conventions in the UK pony-related left.
Yeah, Griffin Isles and PonyCon.
There's UK PonyCon in October and Griffish Isles in November. So does that mean then the one you went to the other year, is that gone as well?
No, PonyCon's still around, mate.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, that's the one, isn't it? UK PonyCon.
It's Brony Scott. It's Scotland one. Brony Scott, but sadly had to shut. They aren't around anymore. I mean, just off the top of my head, mate. Considering that Griffin House is still happening, potentially we could look at maybe trying to go.
Well, the thing is, it depends. This year, it depends what the dates are for it, because I do have time off, but it's around my birthday later in the year.
According to this, it's the 20th and the 21st of November.
Let me just check, and I'll get back to you on that. Because I've got time booked off for November.
I mean, that's a Thursday and a Friday. I'd be honest with you, I'd have to check. I don't know. I can't remember what my holiday years run September to September, but there is a cut-off date in November. I can't remember what the dates are. I might not be able to take it. I think the cut-off date might be the 20th, so I might not be able to take those dates. I'll have to ask. Them.
I'm off from the 25th to the 4th of December, but I might be able to maybe have a word and see if they can rearrange my days of that week of it, and just see if I can move my days around, or see if I can or shift swaps or whatever. I'll just see what I can do. If I can do it, I'll let you know, Sam. I mean, I have got time booked off, but it's from the 24th to cover my birthday of that month.
Right, I'm just thinking I wouldn't mind the go. If it's 100% going to happen, then I'm 100% wanting to go, because it would be nice to go to it. Because I say we haven't really done anything convention related for almost 2 years, so it'd be nice to do it.
And it would. I mean, apparently they do get voice actors as well, but it'd be interesting whether they actually do this year because of what America's like at the minute.
I'd have to check, because I can't remember what the cut-off date for my holidays are, because I'm fairly certain the cut-off date is November. And
also, if they get Gen 4 voice actors, they're from Canada, and I've got no idea how they are. I know they went through a couple of situations where everything shut down. So I've no idea if they are in a good place or a bad place, or I don't know where they are when it comes to vaccinations.
Oh yeah, it is a Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Sorry, because Jonathan said it's a Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, it is. Sorry, I was looking at the calendar wrong. Yeah, it's Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So yeah, we could easily go.
It just depends if I can. It just depends if I can juggle things around, really, for me.
Yeah, I'd have to check, because ideally I'd only need the Friday and the Monday off. Ideally. Right. Two seconds. I'm just going to check my holidays and my work app and just have a look. It might be able to tell me whether or not I can take. If I could take those 2 days off, brilliant. Because I really wouldn't mind going to one. It would be nice to go to a convention.
It would be. It would just be nice. Well, it's in Manchester, so it's not that far from us either. It's only about. It's about an hour and a half to roughly 2 hours, depends, from us. So it's not far. But it depends whereabouts in Manchester, because it's a big place and there's more than one train station. You've got the central, and then you've got an outside Manchester. See, because you got obviously central Manchester, and then you got other parts. So it's quite a vast place, exactly whereabouts that is, or where the convention or where it's been held.
Don't worry about that too much at the moment, right?
No, but I'm just saying that, with Manchester being such a big place, Anyway, what's going on in the chat here? Sorry that we're ignoring the chat, guys. But Ginger says, did you guys watch the live stream of the Gen 4 actors? It just happened recently, I missed it. No, I didn't. That would have been interesting to watch.
Although I think it's still on YouTube.
Is it on YouTube? If it is, I'll give it a watch later. Ginger said, not the main 6 cast, but the side characters. Okay. still looks interesting. Nico to Ginger. I know Michelle Creeber, aka Apple Bloom, was in it. So cool. Nice. Nico just come into it saying, since I mentioned the Owl House earlier, there's a video of a few scenes from the show. Okay, I'll give that a look. Look-see. 8 people watching currently, Sam. One of them's me, I know that. And I think one of them
as well.
So I know at least 2 of us, but there's about 7 or 8 people coming in and out. That's cool. If there's anybody watching in the sidelines, by all means, come and say hello. We don't bite much, but anybody that is a fan of anything, video games, animation, movies, ponies, anything, come and say hello. We won't say anything against it. Usually these streams, they start off pony related, and we had, like the last one, Jesus Christ, we went through so many tangents in that one. It was incredible. I have just noticed something, that the actual live chat on the YouTube channel down the side of it is actually a few seconds behind what I'm receiving. So yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, Nico says, by the way, not pony related, what's your favorite horror movie? I'm a big fan of the classic slasher films, so like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. I love the American Werewolf in London, even though it is a horror film, but it's more kind of a comedy as well. I'm a big fan of cult classics, like the really, really quite gory stuff. I'm a big fan of I'm a big fan of stuff where like with practical effects and makeup and things like that, zombie films. But to put a name to a film that I would say is my favorite, I don't know. I mean, I really love Hellraiser, so I'll probably say my favorite horror film is Hellraiser, and my second favorite is Hellraiser 2, and then probably my third favorite is Nightmare on Elm Street, or that whole series, except for the second one because that was more of a standalone film. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, I love my Pinhead Hellraiser films. I think they're great. What about you, Sam? Do you have a favourite horror film?
I have several, mate. Just to let you know, I have put a holding application in for those 2 days. So
Good.
If I get it, brilliant. Maybe we can go to Brisbane Isle and go to an MLP because that's the first time.
Well, I'll keep you posted, mate. It depends on whether I can rearrange, because with me having a holiday literally from the 24th, they might get a little bit antsy with me moving the dates around. But if I can, it depends as well what days I'm working the week off. And we usually get about 3 or 4 weeks worth of rotas at one time. So I'll have to check probably around October, late October, so to see what days I'm on. But I'll get back to you.
In regards to horror films, my favourite horror franchise has got to be Saw.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the Saw films. I'd say my favourite out of all of them is Saw 1, Saw 4, and then Jigsaw. I think they're the best 3 of the lot. I absolutely love the Saw franchise, though. Big fan. Ginger asks a bit on top. I've heard of Samsung Sam. I believe you're talking about that Samsung AI assistant. Interestingly, it's not a fake, but it's not actually something that's been released. It's just an early idea Samsung are running with of having like a a virtual AI assistant, but they've never bothered releasing it.
Right.
So I don't think it's due to be released.
Jonathan says, what do you think about G5 series being developed by a different studio to the movie? We had a similar question to that earlier, Jonathan. So I'm just going to alliterate what I said to that one, is that obviously I think Boulder Media are a part of it as well. And also they are part of possibly the animated series that follows on from that. Boulder Media obviously are based in Ireland, that we found out in the chat, so thanks for that. But no, I mean, I've got no problems with a different studio taking over My Little Pony from since the 2017 film. As long as the work is good quality and the voice acting's good quality, the direction and all that stuff is good, I've got no problem. What about you, Sam? Do you want to add anything to that, even though we've already answered it?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I like the idea that we're looking at different studios, obviously. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to bring to the series, and it'll definitely be interesting to see what the voice actors will be, and just to see what the animation is going to look like in full scale.
Yeah, exactly. Nico put, imagine an R-rated crossover between MLP and Hell of a Boss. That would be very interesting, because I know Vivian, who created Hell of a Boss and everything like that, and Hell of a Boss and Has-Been Hotel. She is a big fan of MLP, stuff like MLP and anime and things like that. And so basically, that would be interesting because she is actually a fan, and so that would be interesting to see an R-rated crossover. That would be funny. That would be interesting. Jonathan put in the UK. Oh, sorry. So, did you want to add anything to that one before we move on?
Yeah, no, you're all right, mate. Feel free.
No, I mean, would you like to see an R-rated crossover between MLP and Hell of a Boss?
Oh yes, that I definitely would. I think that would be a very interesting thing to see. It would be insane, crazy, and would probably result in a massive surge of new Bronies.
Yeah, it would. Jonathan,
imagine if that was advertised as being the Gen 5.
Yeah, that would be good. Right, so Jonathan, it says, in the UK, E1 have just advertised for product lead and social media leads for My Little Pony. Interested in applying. Oh, interesting. So apparently they're after someone for E1's after people in the UK to advertise products and for social media. Shall we go for it, Sam?
Yeah,
do you think we've got what it takes to help E1 and Hasbro make money?
Probably not.
we probably got what it takes to stall production, possibly, or set it back. But yeah, Ginger put, I have a question. If MLP were to change studios with Disney, what do you think it would look like?
Oh, bloody hell. A fully fan Disney. Oof. You want my honest opinion?
Go for
it. They would utterly destroy it. Because Disney isn't what it used to be. It really isn't. They are slowly slipping away from being the Disney we all remember. They are largely focusing on bad live-action remakes and films that don't feel as good as they used to be. And I don't like talking about this really because I just don't have the time for it, but they're slowly slipping down the route where they have to have an agenda in all of their films. So personally, I think Disney would destroy MLP if they got their hands on it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I love Disney. I love like their golden age of animation, where it was all cell animation and really beautiful animated films like Lion King and all that. I'm a huge fan of Pixar as well. The last film that I really enjoyed of Pixar's was a film called Soul, and I really enjoyed that, and I recommend it to anyone that might be interested in that. I really enjoyed that. Um, and I also recently I watched Ray the Last Dragon on Disney Plus, and I mean it was all right. I enjoyed it, but it's not the best work. I don't think it feels like another version. It feels a little bit like Frozen One, where it had some interesting points to it. Like for Frozen, it was more like it only had the song going for it.
Yeah, Ray and the Last for me, it was a massive disappointment. I'm a big fan of films that have dragons in them, as you know, and I just Sisu just really did me. I mean,
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to it, and when she sort of showed up, I was sort of like, "Why is the dragon the comic relief?
Mm.
Like she doesn't do anything for the story." And
Yeah.
ultimately, it really disappointed me. And I just find myself going back all the time to the classics for Disney, like the original Lion King and Oliver and Friends. I'll be honest, like some of the last stuff Disney did that was really like Big Hero 6 is really good. But in the last few years, Disney have just not really been that good. They've been, as I've said, they've been too agenda driven.
Mm.
I don't want to get into a conversation about agenda driven in films, mate, because we will be here all night, and I hate talking about it. But yeah, I don't think Disney would suit MLP at all. However, I will say this: I think Pixar would do a good job if Disney stayed out of it. If it was purely a Pixar film and it was MLP related, I think that Pixar would do a good job.
Yeah. Well, I think for the most part, Pixar are generally left to their own devices, even though they are now owned by Disney full out. But I think their movie choices and their circles of people coming up with different ideas, it is a little bit more free flowing compared to Disney. Disney are much more corporate and more stricter, but Pixar are a bit more free easy. And I think Pixar's films have always been pretty good. I mean, there's been, not, I think there's been a couple of Pixar films that were like that, but for the most part, they've been really good. Where are we in the chat here? Let me just catch up. Nico says I remember Tempest drawing Vivian did, the creator of Hell of a Boss and everything, back in 2017. Nice one. I'd have to see if I can look that up. Ginger put, I think, oh shit. I've lost my place again. Thank you, mouse. Ginger, I think Robot Chicken can handle the crossover between MLP and Hell of a Boss crossover. Yes. I mean, they've already done MLP related. I think there's been a couple of episodes where they've done MLP spoofs. They've also done Transformers spoofs as well, which was funny. I know this is probably something you shouldn't laugh at, but has anybody seen the Transformers episode where Optimus gets? You shouldn't laugh at things like this, but where Optimus gets fingered with cancer and he dies.
Yes.
Oh my god, that was just like, should I laugh at this or not? Yeah, I'd love to see Robot Chicken handle that. That'd be funny. Jonathan, it says Hasbro own E1. E1 is talking over the running of My Little Pony, owns all social media accounts, and plans development. Interesting that E1 own MLP now. I thought it was all Hasbro, but I do know Hasbro. There's been some interesting stuff going on behind the scenes with Hasbro. a lot of rights to stuff has like they had a partnership with like Shout Factory, for instance, and all of a sudden certain titles that Hasbro had rights to have been either taken off or they have like stopped prematurely their license agreement with them. So a lot of stuff you can't buy anymore. Well, can't buy from Shout Factory anymore anyway. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of like moving and shifting around. You know, like with MLP, for instance, it was kind of between DHX. I know there was some issue with DHX, I believe. I've not read into that, but apparently I didn't know this. I didn't know before I found out myself that apparently there was some sort of a court thing or some sort of issue with DHX, hence why it moved to Boulder Media for the rest of it. But yeah. That is interesting, though. Zero Bunny says Ray the Last Dragon is a prime example of Disney being crap, or whatever. But I mean, to be honest, to be fair to the film, okay. I mean, I watched it. I didn't mind it. I think it's a little bit confusing of the message it's trying to tell, but I think for me, it still looks beautiful. I mean, Disney, they do not hold anything back when it comes to beautiful character designs and set pieces. They are just incredible with that stuff still. But as a story, it's probably down there for me with Disney stuff, where the first Frozen film is. I mean, I'm probably going to get a bit of hate for that because there's so many people that love both the Frozen films. I like Frozen 2. I think Frozen 2 is much better. It has much more going for it with character development and story, and all the songs are good rather than just one song. So yeah, I think Frozen 2, I think they listened to the criticism for the first one, and I think they did a good job at, putting a bit of life into Frozen, into that Frozen universe, should I say? But Ray the Last Dragon, I wouldn't say it's completely terrible. It has good points to it, and it is quite dark, which is what Disney's mostly known for. But it's not great at the same time. I won't put it up there in my favourite Disney film ever made.
No, with Nico states, talk about Frozen, Disney in general. I was hoping Frozen 2 to be better than the first film, but it wasn't. So just like the first movie, I'm not a fan of the second one. I'll be honest, I have seen the second Frozen film, obviously I've seen the first. They're the type of films which you sort of just forget about after a week because they're just not memorable. And let's be honest, Frozen 1 was massively popular because of that one song, because of Let It Go. If you take Let It Go out of Frozen 1, that film has got nothing. It's basically just a generic retelling of the Ice Queen story. And because that one song really sort of stuck with everybody, Frozen, it had 150 million budget and it made 1.2 billion at the box office. Now, because it was basically the highest grossing film of 2013, obviously they went ahead and did Frozen 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Frozen 2 again had 150 million, same budget as Frozen 1. I went on to make more or less the same at the box office. It made 1.5 billion at the box office. It actually made slightly more at the box office. At the moment, there doesn't appear to be anything mentioning a sequel. I don't think it's planned for a Frozen 3.
Yeah.
I don't think you can even do a Frozen 3, to be honest. I just don't know how you do it. But ultimately, Frozen 3 and Frozen 2, I suppose, is okay, but still, they're generically hoping to keep the franchise going by relying on the music, which is fair enough. Disney's known for its music. The Frozen films aren't anything special. Not when you compare them to absolute classic films like The Lion King, which is, I love The Lion, in my book, best one. It's probably sort of The Lion King was sort of the last film they did before this sort of the golden age ended.
It is. Just to let anyone know, I don't know if I've dropped or anything, have I? Can you still hear me, Sam? Am I still broadcasting?
Yeah.
All right, no, what?
Just on a side note, Frozen 3 is going to happen, but it's apparently going to be happening either 2023 or 2024, but there's no information available yet as to the plot.
Of course they're going to do another one. It doesn't matter. I mean, end of the day,
they'll still make a billion.
Disney are becoming a very, very... they're becoming a bit of a threat more than anything, really, because they're buying everything out left, right, and centre. I mean, Amazon just struck a big deal with MGM, which means they own a lot of certain properties, like they own the Chucky franchise now and all that. So that's interesting. But, I mean, for Disney, they own Fox. They own pretty much everything, nearly. And... I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, I love Disney. I do. I love Disney, and I love their, like we just said a moment ago, their golden age of animation, like all that stuff. But I love all that. But the thing is, their live action stuff has always been not as good. There's only been a couple of examples that are still pretty classics, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and all that stuff I really liked as a kid. And there's been a couple of other ones from like years ago, from like the 60s or 70s or whatever, that are pretty like golden age or whatever. But for the most part, it's just kind of like, it is a shame they just can't make them like they used to anymore, or they just don't want to. I think they've been bigots. I think they've kind of been a bit bigoty with it all. It's just kind of like, we are Disney. Regardless of what we make, we will still make a lot of money. And I think that's generally the strategy they go with now. Before, they used to have a lot of pride in what they do. I'm not saying that the people that make these films don't have any pride. I think they generally just have so many things, loopholes, and things they have to jump through in order to make the film, and things they have to abide by the Disney governors and the board and everything. And I think that's generally why most of the new stuff, unfortunately, just aren't as good. I think they deliberately have to kind of talk about, like Sam says, stuff that we're not going to talk about much more in this stream, but things like today's social political agendas and all that. And I do not want that in my stuff.
Just to Rose Ginger, who said, we're talking about Disney, have you watched Loki or any of the Marvel series? Yes, Ginger, I have. I really liked the first episode of Loki. I thought it was very good, especially how they're obviously going to be linked everything into the whole time agency thing that exists within Marvel. So ultimately, yeah, I like Loki. I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well. I do like a lot of the stuff that's coming out for Marvel live action stuff. I think it is all good.
Hey, Nico says as well that he says to this day he thinks Cars 2 remains Pixar's worst movie ever. I've seen Pixar's 2. I think the best part of that film is that they got Michael Caine in it to play the agent character. But yeah, I mean, I like the Pixar films. The Pixar films get a lot of bad press. I mean, I really enjoy Cars 1. Cars 2, I don't mind. It's not brilliant, but I don't mind it. Pixar Cars 3 is okay. I mean, it generally does feel a little bit like the first one, but it's a nice legacy thing where, obviously, Lightning McQueen, he kind of retires, but he becomes a coach to that female new character that he meets in the third film. And I think that's a good writing to kind of like say, right, okay, I mean, McQueen was good at his time, but times are moving on and it's time for the new generation. And it's a good way that they ended it. I think it's a good ending, I think. Where are we? Yeah, so I'm gonna answer Ginger's question about Loki. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the first episode for Loki as well. Really enjoyed it. It was a very good, strong first episode, and it links the cinematic universe really well, as we saw. I'm looking forward to more of that, and I've seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I enjoyed it a little bit. It wasn't as good as I loved WandaVision. I thought WandaVision was really, really good. It started off really boring, but it got really good by the end. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Loki. I really am, to see what happens there. Nico put, Disney's basically taking over the world at this point. Yeah, they pretty much are. Ginger put, but to be fair, I think if it weren't for Disney, MLP and other singing shows wouldn't exist. That is kind of true. I mean, Disney kind of musical theatre or musicals have been around for a long time. Irrespective of Disney. But yeah, Disney have had a hand, or they've had a foot in the door of kind of introducing to new generations of kids throughout the decades and generations to musical stuff and songs and singing and all that and dancing and all that stuff. And Disney have done some good stuff with introducing certain things to people, but it's just unfortunately at the moment they just really aren't. That just doesn't feel like they've got the heart in it anymore like they used to. Ginger put, and to be honest, Toy Story 4's award-winning director will be directing the new animated Transformers movie. Yes, I know about that. I'm interested. I mean, I really enjoyed Toy Story 4. I thought that was really good and a very, very nice way to end it, or to end the current run with those characters. I thought it was handled very well. I mean, again, this is Pixar. I think Pixar with their storytelling are a lot more imaginative than Disney are themselves. I think they really handled the Toy Story 4 really well, and I think the guy who directed that, I think him coming into the Transformers universe, I just really hope I'm hoping he's a fan, or at least knows a little bit of some knowledge of it at least. Because obviously with Michael Bay, I'm not going to go too much into Michael Bay, but I do take a lot of interesting, and I do take some good points from Michael Bay's films, but it's kind of like Michael Bay literally didn't even know what Transformers was when he took the job. He didn't know what it was. He literally had to be told, and he literally had to go to school. He actually read the Transformers Bible, apparently. Apparently, Hasbro had to show him the Bible for Transformers to give him some sort of an idea. So literally, that just goes to show that, getting somebody or getting a director that just doesn't know certain property to helm your film, it's not going to end well. Because if they don't understand the property, they're not going to make it very good. Even though the first 07 film was probably the best he did, but there was a lot of people behind the scenes kind of letting him know things, really. But like when the Bumblebee film that came out, that was really good, and it was Travis Knight that directed that, and Michael Bay produced it. But I mean, I'm a big fan of Travis Knight. I'm a big fan of Leica Animation, and that was literally Travis Knight's first ever live action film, because he's mostly known for is more well known for Leica Animation, which means stop motion animation. And if you are somebody that is really good at emoting emotion out of a puppet, you could make anything golden, in my opinion, because how you can make a puppet, a claymation thing, or a specially made puppet, make it emote human emotion so well. If you can do that, you can put your hand to anything, in my opinion, in the movie industry. And I mean, even though it wasn't probably the best film ever made, Bumblebee, but it was a much better film story-wise, and when they incorporated certain scenes, like on Cybertron, for instance, and the war between the Decepticons and the Autobots, that was just seeing that on the big screen. I was just like, oh my god, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, do you want to add anything to that, Sam? And I kind of like completely took the limelight away from you there.
Just to quickly mention what Nico states, Michael Bay is so plain and simple. Michael Bay is not the best director when it comes to story. He may well be good at doing action films, but overall story is never particularly his style.
No. He's not. He's very generic in his story. I mean, every film. I mean, the thing is with Michael Bay is there are some films that I do enjoy by Michael Bay, and there's a film called The Rock with Sean Connery in it, and that film is one of my favorites from Michael Bay. And I also enjoy the Bad Boys films; they're good.
Yeah.
And I also enjoy. This might get a bit of criticism in the chat, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine, and I love the film Armageddon. A lot of people hate that film because it's so the scientific side of it and the whole that kind of part of it is unrealistic to the point of it's stupid. But I just love that film. I mean, they got so many big names in that, like Bruce Willis and all that, and they also got Aerosmith to do the theme for that film, and it's just the main song for it. And it's just, for me, it's one of those films that came out in the 90s that it's so stupid, but you could just kind of like sit there with a massive big load of popcorn and just go to town with it. Yeah. Where are we? Nico, what do you guys think the G5 special is going to be about? I've no idea. I mean, all that we know of, it's going to be about 45 minutes, and it's going to kind of introduce us or give us some sort of an introduction or some sort of a placeholder, if you will, for when the series comes out. So whatever happens in the movie and what happens at the end of the movie, I guess that's what we can just kind of base that on, what the 45-minute will be. I'm guessing it's going to be something where they, what happens at the end of the film, I don't know how it concludes, we don't know, or it's going to have like an open ending, possibly will have an open ending, and it'll kind of be like, oh, what next? And then the 45-minute special will likely, I think, will just pick up on the concluded part of the movie, and give us kind of like a bit more of an introduction, maybe some background or something, what's happening in the story. And then when we get the series is just literally going to probably start literally as the special ends, possibly. I think that's probably what it's going to be. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, completely agree. Ultimately, I just think Travis Knight definitely is a great director. He's got a lot of talent. I do look forward to seeing what potentially he could bring in the future. It would be nice to see the Transformers films actually be more accurate to the original idea, and also more accurate to fan base.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about what I just mentioned about what do you think the 45-minute special is going to be about?
Not a lot is known about that. Originally, the rumours were that it was going to be sort of a prequel to G5. I'm thinking it's either going to be, it might potentially be a prequel to G5. It could maybe be like a bridge between G4 and G5. Yeah. Or it could potentially, I know this is unconfirmed, but potentially it might be giving us the start of the Equestria Girls 5.
Possibly. That could be a possibility. I mean, like I say, we don't know what's happening with Equestria Girls. And we don't know whether they're going to do we don't know whether they're going to kind of do what they did with Gen 4. Because when the first two seasons came out, the first film came out, I think, after season 2, or when season 2 concluded, or halfway through, I don't know, but it came out around about the time of season 2. And when you watch the first Equestria Girl film, it is indeed in the continuity, and obviously Pony Twilight goes to the human side and meets all the human variants of the characters. So basically, it's kind of like, could that be what happens with Gen 5? Sorry, could that be what you say? I mean, it'd be the Equestria Girl side of Gen 5. Jonathan, will you be joining the UK Ponytown server tomorrow? I'm not sure. That's the first time I've actually heard of that, actually. What about you, Sam?
I haven't heard of that either. I'm vaguely aware of it, though, to be fair, but I might do. It really just depends, really.
Is that server? Is that on Discord? Is it?
It probably will be. It's probably likely going to be on the Ponyfest Discord, I would imagine.
Possibly.
I've got a few on Discord, so I'd imagine it'll be. Let me have a look. Is it Ponyfest? Yes, I think it is. I think it's Bronies.
Right. Nico says, by the way, did you see Kubo and the Two Strings? That was Travis Knight's first movie as a director. Yes. Love it. Absolutely love that film. It is by far the best film they've made. I mean, Travis Knight, he's the CEO. He's the CEO of Leica Animation. He's overseen every film that they did as a producer and also as a creative consultant and all that. But yeah, that was the first one he'd actually directed himself. And that film is... I'm a big fan of stop motion animation. Always have been, ever since I first saw A Nightmare Before Christmas. A Nightmare... Yeah, isn't it? A Nightmare Before... I don't know. Yeah, it is. Anyway, so basically when I saw that Tim Burton one, I absolutely love that film. And ever since I saw that film as a kid, I just fell in love with that kind of storytelling. And when I saw like Paranorman, which I love, and I saw I think Box Trolls is probably the least best they did, mostly because the frame rate wasn't as sharp. You can definitely tell it was stop motion. It wasn't as polished as the other works, if you know what I mean. But for the most part, I mean, Kubo and the Two Strings, it's just how they can... The amount of emotion out of those characters is just incredible. You can feel it. It just emotes heart. It really does. It really does. I mean, on all parts. I mean, it's very dark, and then it's very light. The comedy, the balance is just fantastic. He is a genius storyteller. He really is.
Yeah, 100% agree.
He really, really is. Nico, what's your favourite MLP memes? I'm not sure.
I'd probably say some of my favourite memes are the Celestia memes are really good. There's a lot, especially the ones that feature Celestia eating cake. They're really good.
I don't actually know, to be honest. I don't know. I can't actually remember the ones I've seen, to be honest. Trying to think of anyone that I've actually seen. No, I can't think of any. I apologise, Nico. I have actually no idea. I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago, let alone what I saw probably in the last few years. Ginger, I only like 20% of them. Must be memes, you know. But yes. Well, so far it's been an interesting stream. We are coming up to 1 hour and 41 minutes since we started. I don't know how much longer you want to go for, Sam. I mean, I'm at work in morning, but I'm happy to go at least another hour if everyone in the chat are up for that. And you, Sam?
Yeah, we can do, mate.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that.
Anything else you want to talk about, Sam? Anything interesting you want to talk about while we wait for anyone to say out in the chat? I mean, I think I said most what I want to say.
Generally, I don't know what else I can think to say at the moment, really. I mean, I could speculate on who the voice actors of G5 might be, but again, that's there's so much potential as to who it could be. We just don't know, and I am curious. But Jonathan asked if you would commission a custom pony plush, which character would you go for? Already have a custom pony plush, mate. I've got Little Pip from Fallout Equestria. I've got an actual custom pony plush of Little Pip. So yeah, I have my custom pony plush already. Although I will admit, there's a few other characters I wouldn't mind having. I would like to get a custom sunset, and even a custom Sunny for G5. But yeah, I have a custom Little Pip, which I'm quite proud of having.
For me on that, I haven't got any commissioned plushes at all. I mean, I've got some Build-A-Bear ones. I've got, like, as you would have seen, I got Tempest. I've got an original Build-A-Bear Pinky and Rainbow Dash. And I've also got Spike as well. But I think as a commission, because obviously I don't know if Build-A-Bear are going to do any plushes. They probably will. But I would love Izzy. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know what the personalities are going to be like until we see the film. But just on Izzy's design alone, and looking at how funny she seems to be, seems to be a little bit like the Pinkie Pie of G5, where she seems to kind of be very how can I put this, free spirited in a way. You know, she seems to be kind of carefree. And I'd love a commission version or commission plush of Izzy from G5. Yeah, definitely. Nico, Ginger. Oh yeah. Ginger Port, have you guys seen Invincible? Yes, I have. I absolutely loved it.
I need to watch it.
Watch it. Add it to your collection of watching stuff that just adds dust for years and years and years, and you never seem to get that list down. Watch it. Watch it. Mate, it is so good. It really is so good. Yeah, like Nico says to Ginger, Invincible is absolutely brutal. So yeah, Sam, it is basically, yeah, it is. If you like, I know you like your brutal stuff. You like stuff that's like very doesn't hold back. You really will get a kick out of Invincible. Alpha Swirl too. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm new to the stream. Hello, everybody. Hello, Alpha. Welcome. Nico, since Flash still has the hots for Sunset, what if they got back together at some point? Well, to be honest with you, I mean, I don't know what the hell's happening anymore, because obviously he fell in love with, or there was a bit of a crush between Pony Twilight and him when in the first couple of Equestria Girl films. But then when the human Twilight version of Twilight took over, and it was like, well, you know, I kind of felt sorry for Flash because it was like he's kind of like pining for her to come back, and she doesn't ever come back after like the third film because she does come back like really quickly at the end of the film in the third one, and then that's it. So it's kind of like there's still something there between Sunset, but Sunset and Flash. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to them getting back together, but it would be kind of interesting because I mean, I love the song, Flash's song that he did, and he's kind of like saying, you know, I'm cheering you on to all the main ladies, and but yeah, you notice that the reaction of Sunset's reaction and her friends to Sunset, which kind of gives you this thing that he's saying this to you, you know, get with him kind of thing, you know. So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. I know that there is a lot of want for obviously their relationship to happen. It is just a bit of a shame that ultimately his character was sidelined quite heavily after the second film.
Yeah.
I believe he shows up on 2 or 3 occasions in the main series, but only sort of as like a background character. But yeah, it's a shame that he never really did anything with the character. They just sort of left it after the second film. It would be nice to see them try and reconnect with it.
It would. I mean, we don't know what the future's going to bring. We don't know whether they're going to do an Equestria Girl version for Gen 5 yet, and whether we're going to get some returning Gen 4 characters to add to the mix. I mean, it could be its own universe, you see, because Equestria Girls eventually became its own universe. So it's even though it was still connected to the main continuity. So we know that Gen 4 and Gen 5 are connected in some way. So with Equestria Girls, they could be very creative with it. It doesn't really matter about the time skip, really, when it comes to Equestria Girls, but it could still be within the continuity. So you could still have the human versions of the Gen 4 characters intermingling with the Gen 5 versions. If they do that, or if it's just going to be a CGI version of Equestria Girls, just to kind of make it look like it's part of that continuity. But we don't know. I mean, the future's still bright for it. I mean, I'm up for more Equestria Girls. Alpha Swell says, when Gen 5 comes out, are you going to be collecting the merch or not? It depends on what merch comes out. I mean, if there's any like posters, any art, I certainly will do because I love my posters and my artwork. Any plushes like Build-A-Bear, if Build-A-Bear get the contracts to do official plushes, I will certainly be buying a few of them. And I don't know about bedspreads or out like that. I mean, I think we're a bit too old for bedspreads personally, but no, I mean, I won't be opposed to buying some stuff. It just depends what it is. I mean, I've got quite a bit of Gen 4 merch. As you can see behind me, I've got posters. I've got a big pirate ship thing from the movie that Sam got me. I've also got something that's still yet to be opened, and it's a Rainbow Dash. I think it's like a mermaid version of her. I've got this, which is very recent, which is the season 10 volume 1 comic, and I've got plushes for as well. So I mean, I definitely might do. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, I've got plenty. I've got a couple of plushes. Build-A-Bear. I've got obviously the series DVDs, Equestria Girl stuff. A couple, obviously, the fan fiction publications. With G5, no doubt I will be looking into stuff. I mean, I already want to get hold of the custom Sunny plush if I can. But yeah, I'll definitely be looking at getting hold of some of the merchandise for Gen 5.
Yeah. Jonathan, he said, Equestria Girls responded to Monster High by Hasbro. Given Monster High is having a reboot next year, will be interesting to see if Hasbro respond. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I've tried to look into Monster High. I don't like it. Compared to Equestria Girls, I don't like it. It just feels a little bit like Barbie. You know what I mean? You know, like a lot of the animated stuff they've done for Barbie, and it just kind of radiates that kind of esque to it. But with Equestria Girls, it doesn't feel like a series to sell dolls, if you know what I mean. It doesn't feel as generic as Barbie and everything. So who knows? I mean, Hasbro, at the end of the day, that their whole thing is to get toys and to make money. And so, to be honest with you, I mean, they are going to do something to respond. They will certainly try and get some money equity out of something another company is making. Nico, what if we had a guy character who fell in love with Rarity? Poor girl needs some love. I know. I mean, like I say, I mean, she's literally supposed to be the beautiful one of the group, apparently. You know, with all her, you know, because of her background and everything, and she's, you know, very, very stylish pony. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to her meeting someone, but the thing is with the show, Lauren Faust and like Megan McCarthy, who worked on a lot of the stuff and everything, have come forward and said that they're not really going to look into relationships per se, even though they have kind of recently been going to like Lara and Bonbon being a couple, and kind of the whole gay relationships, like the two aunts of Scootaloo. They did that. And I mean, they have kind of gone into relationships a little bit, even though they said they wasn't going to. But with the main characters, I mean, they never really went into that as much. You know, you don't know who Twilight possibly ended up with. That was never really said about because it wasn't really, you know, important, if you know what I mean. But when it comes to the future, I mean, it would be nice to see if Rarity does finally find that stallion she's been craving for. I know it sounds a bit wrong. Do you want to add anything to that, Sam? Do you think Spike should get rid of Rarity?
To be honest, as much as sort of Spike's crush on Rarity was sort of part of the reason why, as it's shown in sort of one of the last episodes of MLP, why he and you'll sort of see that him and Rarity have a really strong friendship. But ultimately, if you sort of look at it from sort of a realistic perspective, Rarity is an adult, Spike's a child. It really wouldn't work. I know that they sort of hinted about possible relationships with sort of Gabby Gums. There was also the whole Smolder as well. But ultimately, I don't think Spike would end up in any sort of relationship within the series, not until later on, if the comics or the series was to progress that way. Obviously, we don't know if Spike is going to be in Gen 5. If he is in Gen 5, then maybe we'll find out what happens to him later on in life.
Yeah, that's true. But end of the day, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, they could maybe answer that question in the Equestria Girl side, because the whole setting of the Equestria Girl side is different, and they could definitely bring in relationships, because when it comes to high school, and they are in high school, so it's kind of like when it comes to high school, there is always blossoming relationships within high school and everything. So they could possibly answer that question in the Equestria Girl side. Jonathan says, well, Monster High is from the makers of Barbie. Yeah, so I think it's Mattel, isn't it? But Hasbro got to sell dolls as well. Yeah, they do. Hasbro are all about making toys, dolls, and all that kind of thing. So, but so I won't be surprised if they try to wade in on it. Nico, here's a fan animation I found a few days ago. Sorry, it has a teenage Flurry talking for the first time. Interesting. Ginger, I think Spike moved on with his crush on Rarity even since he befriended Gabby on season 9. Yeah, possibly. I mean, like at the end of the day, it was a childhood crush she had on Rarity, and it was a just sweet, innocent little thing. You could tell it wasn't going to go anywhere because obviously she's much older than him, anyways, and it wouldn't be very right, would it? But yeah, I mean, end of the day, I mean, he probably moved on, or probably might end up with another one of his kind, maybe another dragon, or maybe another character. I don't know. We just don't know. We don't know.
And there are a few like really good fan fictions that basically sort of dive into the whole concept of Spike and Rarity becoming a couple. Most of those, however, focus. They tend to be a little bit different. They'll either go down the route of having Spike being older, so normally he's sort of in his teens, like 15, 16, that type of thing, or they'll have sort of there's other ones where it's sort of like Spike confessing his feelings to Rarity, and she sort of takes it in stride, but ultimately it's a case of it wouldn't work between us because you're too young, you're just a kid, blah 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 blah. I can't remember the name of it, but there is a fan fiction. I sort of remember a bit of the plot, that I can't remember the name of it, but it sort of follows a bit of like an alternative sort of there's like an alternative take on season. I think it's season 4. I can't remember when the Crystal Kingdom comes into it, but basically it's like an alternative story to the Crystal Kingdom arc, and in it Spike's about 15, and the story is it all ends up with Rarity sort of accepting his feelings for her after he saves her life, and she sort of becomes like his lady in waiting, on the grounds that when he's a bit older they'll talk about whether or not they're going to pursue a relationship. I can't remember what the fan fiction was called, but it's a really good one.
Yeah, Nico, Spike did kind of look like a dragon version of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the big finale. Yeah, he did. He certainly sprouted. Jesus. End of the day, he's a dragon, so he would become pretty big. I like the fact that he did get quite big. I mean, obviously, he was a small little baby dragon, and the fact that when he gets older, he's like, I'm jacked, guy. Alpha, hello again. A few weeks ago, I was talking to people on Discord about their thoughts about G5. And one person said just the word A. That's it. The guy just said that without giving a thought. Was he meaning amazing? Was he meaning, I don't know.
A plus, mate. It's saying A plus.
A plus, is it?
Yeah, effectively saying, it's really good, even though we don't really know a lot about it outside of just the main characters.
Yeah, it says which he found kind of stupid. Well, I mean, end of the day, like I say, I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, he could have given a bit more explanation, or he or she or whatever could have given a bit more explanation to that instead of just saying A plus plus. But I mean, end of the day, nobody knows anything. The only information people know about is what's already out there, and we're still very much left in the lurch of how to react to it. I mean, I've seen a lot of criticism over it on Twitter. I've seen a lot of people saying that, this is going to be a pile of shit. or it's just not going to be Gen 4. It's not going to be as good or special. Some people just generally don't care. But at the end of the day, that's the internet. You're going to get a lot of different opinions. But us here at the Bronies UK, we are very open-minded. We do hope it's going to be good. We hope they're not going to put a lot of shit in there to make it too to kind of feed to the agenda, social agendas. I really do hope. But I do hope that they kind of capture what made Gen 4 special. But at the same time, I want it to be its own thing. I don't want it to be a generic kind of Gen 4-esque story with just new characters. I don't want it to be like that. Even though I've got nothing against it being in the same continuity, and it kind of being Gen 4 kind of seems to be looked upon as like more like the golden days of when things were much more better. Looked upon now, but well, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we need a trailer. We need that goddamn trailer, Hasbro, if you're watching. We need the flicking trailer. Get on it. We need that trailer.
I'm sure we will get one, mate. We can't, as far as I said, I think a month tops.
Yeah.
And we'll probably get one.
We've said that every month.
I know.
So next month, the next month, and the next month. Anyway, yeah, we'll get one eventually. I think they're waiting on. I think they're waiting on San Diego Comic Con. I think that's is that this month? Is it next month? Is it anything happening this year? I don't know. I mean, it happened last year, but obviously it was virtual, so I assume it'll be another virtual event. But I think they'll be waiting for San Diego Comic Con, because with San Diego Comic Con, it's the perfect platform to release things like trailers.
Yeah, it is. Friday, 23rd of July.
So it's next month. So I think we'll get something.
Yeah, so they might actually. You know what? That would make sense, mate. Because if it's Friday, 23rd of July to Sunday, 25th of July, which is literally 2 months before the film's out.
Yep.
That would make sense if they release it then.
Yeah, most likely. So I think they're purposely waiting to release it at a massive, massive moment. And I think San Diego Comic Con is the perfect place, because I think they'll have a big panel. They'll finally announce, I'll probably get some of the voice actors or the people playing the characters. I think we'll get a trailer, and I think we'll get a bit more information. And I think they'll put on a massive, massive Hasbro's My Little Pony panel. And I think they'll put something on to introduce us to these characters and who's playing which character and all that. Maybe. I hope. Nico, the Crystal Empire was first introduced in season 3. Yeah, it was. Don't know what that was about. Alpha Swell again. But people shouldn't judge it before they watch the movie. And remember, don't judge a book by its cover. Exactly right. Exactly right. The problem is people are too easy and too quick to judge things before they actually see it.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to me, I'm speaking as myself here, not for anybody else, obviously. But with me, when I see something, I might kind of think, oh, I don't know if that's going to work, but I'll probably say, I'll probably go and see it. And once I've seen it, then I'll make my opinion on it. So that's generally what I'm like. But at the end of the day, we just don't know yet. We just don't know how good it's going to be. I mean, the animation looks bloody great. And the world looks beautiful from what we've seen. I don't know if that's even in the movie, but what the sets of where you see the characters on looks really nice and interesting. So it's kind of like, it's going to be interesting to see what the world's like in that story continuity. With it being a bit more depressing, there's no more magic being used. they use technology more than they ever did before, and all that kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what that's all like and how that works. And it's also going to be interesting. I mean, I'm going to use this word loosely, but how the politics works with that film, because there has to be some sort of high order, some sort of political order in order to kind of govern the changes. So, but we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, just on a side note, Nico says, mentioning how the teaser trailer was supposed to drop in May, and we're halfway through June, and there's no sign of it. I actually agree. I agree with Ginger on this, that they might have meant that small animation teaser. I think that was the actual teaser trailer was that little animation that showed off all the characters. I'm convinced it is. And I think it is very likely they will release the full theatrical trailer during the San Diego Comic Con event. Because again, that literally matches up 2 months before the film's released.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I remember that little animatic that went up, and nobody seems to know where it come from. Nobody seems to know where it came from, who uploaded it, who the person behind that channel that uploaded that video. No one seems to know anything. And some people kind of assumed it was just a rejected story or a rejected song, because it was a song. It was a song sequence, and you see the main characters for Gen 4 out of a snow globe thing, and there's a small pony and a older pony kind of like walking around it, and it looks like it was part of a song number, but we just don't know. I mean, that could generally have been something for the new one, but the animation, it did look a little bit Gen 4-ish in how it looked compared to Gen 5, but that might have been at a time when they were kind of working out how the characters could have looked. We don't know. Ginger, if that's the case, I feel bad for the book cover artist. Yeah. Alpha, I hope that this movie doesn't get a load of bad negative reviews. I mean, end of the day, we don't know. End of the day, I think a large majority of the MLP fan base will enjoy it. I just hope that anyway. But like with even Gen 4, there's still a lot of people that moan and groan about things with Gen 4. I mean, even we do from time to time. But I love Gen 4, regardless of any issues with it. But end of the day, you do get a lot of people that generally do have a different opinion to everybody else. Everyone's open to having an opinion, so it's kind of like, unfortunately, not everyone's going to like it. But I think a large majority would be like, yay, more My Little Pony, more ponies. I want more ponies. So there we go. Nico, speaking of the trailer, Hasbro promised us a teaser trailer in June. Oh, yeah, you already mentioned about that, didn't you? So, yeah, responding to what Nico said there, we were supposed to get one in May. We'll just have to wait and see. I genuinely think it makes perfect sense for them to just unveil it all at SDCC. Yes, it's going to be all virtual, but you're still going to get the attention of a big bit. You're going to have a lot of people watching that. So it makes perfect sense to put some sort of a special panel and reveal the cast there, because it'll be all over Zoom, and they can quite easily organise something over a webcam. So we'll just have to wait and see. Ginger, I think they meant the small animation teaser from the Hasbro Live event. Oh, right, okay. I don't think... I'm only aware of that little one that ended up on YouTube. I don't know about that one. Alpha Swell, but I hope I don't get copyrighted. Why? When I found out that one of the professional Brony artists named Imalu was actually giving the pony designs to Hasbro and working for them to make the designs happen. that was awesome. I mean, obviously, I did a video talking about Imalu. It was actually a response to another YouTuber. Forgot to get that goddamn name of him now. But anyway, so I made a video talking about Imalu working on it, and obviously that was that person was obviously a fan artist in the fan base, really well known for hyper realistic 3D looking 2D drawings. So yeah, I'm interested. I mean, you can definitely tell that there's some sort of love for the pony characters and the pony brand, MLP brand, behind it, because obviously Imalu, that person was brought on as a character designer. So yeah, we'll just wait and see. Nika, one thing's for sure, no matter how G5 turns out, we should always remember Gen 4 basically brought MLP back to life. Yes, it did. MLP was dead, really. I mean, it was kind of like, between G3 and G4, I don't know how long it was, but there was a long time between G3 and G4. And yes, they still were making money on the toys more than anything. They were still obviously selling pony toys, but as when it come to media, there was barely anything. But with G4, it ignited comic books, it ignited a series and a movie. So it did a hell of a lot of good for the brand and to bring it back. So yeah, you got to respect Gen 4 for that. It's kind of like, even though we spoke about Michael Bay a little bit, it's the same with the Transformers fan base and the Transformers stuff. Transformers was practically dying as well before the 07 film released. And they released Transformers Animated in 2007 as well. And Transformers Animated, that helped. And also the Michael Bay films also helped bring in a younger generation of fans. And in turn, Transformers has become literally the biggest thing again for Hasbro. And My Little Pony is right next to it as well. Do you want to add anything to that, Sam? You've gone a bit quiet there. Or have you?
No, just reading the Griffin House website, mate. Let's try and get some more info.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about guests, but apparently the guests that they had originally for like 2020 are going to cross to 2021. So they'll have guests there. Sweet. Don't know who, but they are going to have guests. At the moment, I don't think tickets are on sale at the moment. Let's have a look.
Just says, I hope it starts great and ends better. Yeah. We'll have to just wait and see, because we just don't know what's going to happen. It depends, again, how well the film does. What reception it gets, and obviously they've already said that they're going to be doing a series irrespective of the reception of the movie. So of course, it all depends how the movie does and whether it engages a lot of the fans and kids in general, because obviously this is meant for little kids as well. But so if it finds an audience and it gets good reception, or relatively good reception, then I think we could see more. The thing is with Netflix is usually when it comes to a series, to series of an animated series or whatever, they usually do try and do more than one season. So it depends, because I don't know whether they're going to do what they did with Gen 4, whether they're just going to do 3 seasons of it and just wait and see. And if because with Gen 4, they literally only plan to do 3, and then all of a sudden, like overnight, and when season 3 ended, it just kind of like out of nowhere, a massive like fan base started, the Brony fan base, and the rest is history, basically. So it just depends whether it ignites that flame, that passion again. It's already working with artists. There's still a hell of a lot of fan art out there at the moment for the new characters. A lot of people making fan art. So it's igniting creative input from that side of things, at least at the moment. Whether it's going to work with people doing fan fictions, I don't know. And also these musicians as well. It'd be interesting to see whether we're going to get that those musicians are going to start making pony related stuff, more Gen 5 related to songs, inspired stuff for the Gen 5 stuff. We just don't know. Just have to wait and see, because we just don't know what we don't know whether. I assume Gen 5, the movie for Gen 5 will have music in it. I assume it's going to be musical, have musical elements to it. We don't know whether it will, but I assume it will. And if it does, then how well those songs come over and how well written they are, then we might get a little bit. It just depends of how much. It just depends of how much it kind of draws people, the creative people. And once you start getting those creative people into it, it's going to help to somehow do some like promotion work for the movie and for Gen 5. And you're going to start getting a new generation of fans again. So we'll just wait and see. Nico. And as bad as Pony Life is, at least it's not pure nightmare fuel like G3.5 was. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I've not watched much of G3, so I wouldn't really know. But yeah, what I did see of it, I was like, my God, I hate this. But Pony Life, I've watched 2 episodes of it, and it's obviously meant for much younger kids. It's not as when with Gen 4, as it progressed, they put a lot of stuff in there that only people that were older would understand. And like certain references, like Doctor Who, for instance, and all these different references to different franchises. And not all kids are going to recognise all that unless they were brought up on it. And so they were deliberately putting in certain things that only people that were a bit older and adults would understand. So it's kind of like, that in turn is what made Gen 4 special, really, compared to other versions. And I just hope that they, with Gen 5, the movie and the series, I hope they kind of keep that kind of idea to engage the fan base behind it, like the Brony fan base, for instance. Alpha. The reason why I said I don't want to be copyrighted is because that I'm planning actually watching the movie and other stuff. Right, okay. Obviously, I'm going to be watching them. Well, when the film comes out, we'll be talking about the movie, and we'll probably be doing a live discussion of the movie as well when it comes out. End of the day, I know Hasbro's been a little bit quite harsh, because I know there was a lot of cease and desist letters that ended up going to certain people that were making fan-related stuff based on the show. There was Duo Cartoonist as well that ended up just stopping, and we don't know what the true reason was for that, but I think it was a mixture between when that whole copper thing came out, that whatever it was, that copper law thing, it kind of happened about the same time as that being brought in and introduced. And it also kind of, we kind of think they got a cease and desist letter from Hasbro to stop it. So we don't know for sure, but we generally can only assume it could have been one of those 2 things.
Well, ultimately, the good side, the sort of the positive, how can I word this? The good thing is that, as far as I'm aware, all of Dual Cartoonist's work is still on YouTube. I know it's still on there, so it hasn't been lost. So we haven't lost the great animations, and we haven't lost any of the great stuff that they did. But it is annoying that the channel itself no longer exists.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the channel itself, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's been saved. Like, other people that were fans of their works have graciously re-uploaded them on, or somehow saved them and re-uploaded them onto other channels. So yeah, they're still there to watch and enjoy. But it's just a shame, because there has been, Hasbro have been quite hand-fisted with stuff and copywriting, striking stuff with people, and a lot of people that were getting like demonetized for copyright and all that, which is unfortunate. I mean, end of the day, when somebody reacts on something or makes something that is kind of like I don't know, like a film fiction or anything like that, it's all free promotion. So I don't know why they just don't embrace it a little bit more. But I mean, Hasbro have been quite hand-fisted with it, and not just Hasbro, but other companies have been quite hand-fisted with copyrights with things. Where are we in the chat? Alpha says it. Yeah, he likes to do reactions. Okay. Nico, remember when Gen 4 literally made references to Citizen Kane, Phantom of the Opera? That was amazing. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, like I say, I mean, not many kids are going to know about Citizen Kane or Phantom of the Opera, are they? So, I mean, they acknowledged, they went to these conventions at BronyCon and all these other conventions. They met all these, not kids, grown men and women that were there in their thousands. And they noticed they were onto something, and they started to implement from season 4 onwards a lot of interesting kind of like little things in there that not kids would. They weren't really meant for kids. It was meant for older people, older generations. Are you still there, sir?
Yeah, still here, mate. Still here.
You seem very distracted this evening.
No, I'm good. I've just been sort of doing some research and some stuff while I'm being here.
I think what it is, people, we all know what it is. I'm finally getting the limelight here. I'm usually the one that's a disembodied voice.
Ain't a problem, mate. You can be on the screen if you want. Sadly, an issue. It'd be better if I could get us both on at the same time, but you just can't support the damn software. That's the problem.
And I mean, I had my dad said he's still looking into getting a new base unit, so I'm going to have a word with my dad and tell him that we need to get something that is a bit more powerful for editing software plus streaming software, at least, so that I can at least do streaming properly. Ginger says, by the way, do you guys know Round Trip? No, I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is. Do you, Sam?
Vaguely. I think I know what Ujin just talked about, but vaguely. I think I do. I think
Ginger says the guy who makes MLP in a nutshell. I think I know what he's on about now. Is it those little like kind of like is it like really simple pony drawings like stick men? Is it that stuff you're talking about, where it's kind of like really random stuff? Because I'm aware of that guy, definitely. I don't know if that's all you're on about, but yeah. Nico, you know what I always wanted to see? A spin-off show slash movie about Autumn Blaze and the Corinnes. Yeah, that would have been nice. It's unfortunate that they only was in like one episode. There was only really in the one episode, and it was a really good song as well. It's unfortunate, really, because they're introducing all these different races of ponies and everything, and different races in general, and you know they could have really flashed it out a little bit more. What about you, Sam? Would you like to have seen um, a movie or spin-off based on Autumn Blaze and her Corinne's?
Yes,
Right.
I'd love to see plenty of actual spin-offs. There's potential to do a lot, and it would be nice to see them sort of expand the franchise, expand the universe. But unfortunately, I don't think it would happen.
Yeah. Ginger put yes, ponies like stickmen. Yeah, that's all I'm on. Yeah, so that's yeah, yeah. I know what you're on about now. Jonathan, noticed MLP references slipping into other media, not product placement like a certain fireman comedy film, but Easter eggs in other animation like in Ladybug. Well, yeah. I mean, like I say, I mean, this is it. I mean, MLP. There is references to it, whether it's people that are kind of doing it on purpose to kind of because they don't support. It could be in a way because they don't support like us people, bronies and grown people that talk about pastel ponies. You get that a little bit, but then you also get people that put it in there because they could be fans of it themselves that work on other stuff that are in animation and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, MLP's been referenced in a lot of stuff over a long time. Well, anyways, guys, I mean, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna have to come off in a little bit. I'm gonna have to come off soon because we've been doing this now for nearly 2.5 hours, and I'm at work in morning, so I still need to kind of get stuff ready for work in morning. And maybe see about maybe getting my head down for a couple of hours. But so say another 5 minutes, bring it down, bring it to about 5 more minutes, and then we'll probably hit it on the head for tonight, if that's all right with you guys in the chat and you, Sam.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine, mate. Not a problem. Absolutely fine. No worries there.
Ginger, I just remembered a scene from MLPG 4 Season 5 where Rarity sets up her new boutique. Yeah, remember that big fat pony in the end? Possibly. It's been a long time since I've watched the show, but I remember that episode where she opens a new boutique.
Ultimately, with the franchise, there's so much I'd love to see. So much I'd love to see them expand and develop and use, but I don't think they ever will, because one of the big problems with especially season 1, they set so much up with season 1 and season 2, and it did nothing with it. Sort of like, for example, when Spike sort of ends up adopting that Phoenix, you never really find out what happens to that whole storyline. It is shown in a random scene that he gives the Phoenix back to its parents, but there's no episode that shows you what happens with the Phoenix. It's sort although they set so much up and they didn't do anything. Like, one of my biggest gripes with MLP, my biggest pet hate is they did nothing with Spike that was meaningful, and you still never find out who his parents were or how Celestia got hold of the egg. I want to know that. I want to know who are his parents and how did his egg end up in the possession of Celestia. How? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, no. Now, Nico's going to bed. Thanks for joining us on the stream, Nico, as always.
Yes, thank you very much indeed.
Well, anyways, I think it's probably a perfect time to end it now. I mean, we've been doing this for just over 2.5 hours. Jonathan, dragon slavery, what's that all about? Oh, with MLP, I mean, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I think we might as well bring this to an end now. I think, guys. Yeah, so I just want to say, it's been a great stream. Thank you to everybody in the comments, in the live chat. Thank you very much to everybody that come in, come out, dropped in, dropped out, and thanks to everybody that stayed with us for pretty much all of it. Thank you again to Ginger and to Nico and to Jonathan and to who else was in Alpha. Thank you to you. Who else? Zero Bunny. Yeah. So thank you to everybody that joined us in the chat. It's been a great night again. It's been interesting talking about ponies and all sorts of other stuff. Hopefully we'll probably do one again next weekend. I don't know if Sam wants to do that one, if I'll do it again, but we'll wait and see. We'll probably make that decision when we come to it. But I'm sure Sam's got some videos planned. Have you?
Yeah, I've got a few more sorted that I'm going to do for the like MLP fanfics that I've got. So I'll be doing some of them in the next few days. My next one I'm going to be doing for everyone's attention will be the past scenes. I'm going to be doing a special one about that. So keep an eye out because that's going to be posted up in the next few days.
Nice one. So you've heard it here. So Sam's next video is going to be talking about Past Sins, his book, talking about his film fiction book collection. My next, well, I'm still reading it, but once I've finished, I'll be doing a review on this, talking about this. But yeah, I mean, I might try and be careful with it because obviously some people won't have read this yet. Because I don't know. Obviously, I think people in America probably would have had this before me. But yeah, so once I've read all that, I'll be doing a review on that, the season 10, volume 1. And but yeah, until then. And if any more information, G5 related information comes out in the meantime, we'll also be reporting on that and doing individual videos talking about that as well, if anything does happen. And then we'll come together again for another live stream at the weekend. So thank you again to everybody. Thank you very much for your time this evening. So until then, till next time, stay awesome, stay safe. And thank you again for the support on the channel. We are really rocketing the reviews at the subscribers at the moment on the channel. We're now over 130 or something like that now. So thank you very much for the support. It's been absolutely incredible. Any more last points you want to add, Sam?
Just to say again, thank you for everybody that's joined us. We appreciate your continued support, and looking forward to doing a special video for the trailer whenever the hell that gets released.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it could be this month, or I think it could be next month for San Diego Comic Con. Personally, I mean, it makes perfect sense, really, to release it there because it's at the biggest convention in the world, and they'll be getting millions of viewers, even if they do it virtually, which they probably will be. So yeah, but anyway, thank you everybody again. See you next time, and bye bye for now.
Bye everyone. Take care.